Yeah. So, uh, yeah, the previous time we talked about deal with CSS. So, for this week we are going to talk about introduction to Bootstrap. So, I mean, pretty much everyone will have heard of Bootstrap. So, but if you've not heard of Bootstrap before, so what is Bootstrap? So, Bootstrap is a front-end CSS and JavaScript framework for making mobile first and responsive framework. So just like as you have tons of CSS framework, Bootstrap is one of them, one of these mobile framework that is using both CSS and JavaScript. So it's not using only CSS, it's also using JavaScript under the hood to give us uh, all the goodies that Bootstrap is giving us is using both CSS and JavaScript. There are some components that Bootstrap give us that are not using JavaScript, and there are some that are using JavaScript, and there are some that are even using proper JS. That's like another framework of JavaScript. So earlier to this, they were using jQuery, but from version 5, they stopped using jQuery because of compatibility issue of jQuery with other JavaScript framework like React. So jQuery and React don't really play good. So that's Bootstrap. So Bootstrap provide pre-made components like navbar, modal, tabs, accordion, anything you can think of. So when you click on this modal that comes up. So if you want to do this, using pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Like you have to create this modal on itself using a separate HTML and CSS. You have to be like you have to do some DOM manipulation so that when you click this, it brings this up. But with Bootstrap, just put one or two classes and you have the modal up and running. So it gave us a lot of pre-made components, a lot. So let me see. So we have form, select, check and reduce range, input, accordion, alert, badge, a lot of things that many websites will require. You can have all the pre-made components in Bootstrap. Just copy the code and have it in your code base and you are good to have it. So it also come with a responsive 12 column CSS grid system for layout. I don't know if a CSS framework doesn't come with this responsive CSS grid responsive system, then it's not worth being a CSS framework. So Bootstrap also have that. So it use a 12 column grid system so that I will explain more about this 12 column in the class. So but it's responsive and it use mobile first preference. So it's built for mobile, then medium screen and then large screen. So and it's also customizable. So you can customize Bootstrap to your own. You see this way. Let's say we have colors now. So let's see. We have color. We have primary. This is what primary brings. This is what secondary brings. You can customize your own Bootstrap so that when you say blue, it's bringing red. So you want to customize your own. Let's say you want to use a design system. The design system, there's this particular orange that you are using that designer gives. It's not the common orange. So you want to customize it. You can do that using Bootstrap. We discuss more on customization in the video. So that's just Bootstrap, and that's like the main advantage that Bootstrap have because it provide you components, and that's what most CSS framework is trying to do. They are trying to solve the problem of taking the pain of building your own custom components from scratch. They just give you pre-made something that you can start using in your own code. So that's Bootstrap. So let's start with the demo. Let's get into like an hands-on of how Bootstrap can be used. So like usually we're using code sandbox. So do like this just a HTML page. So to use Bootstrap, you have to first install it. So there are like two ways to install Bootstrap. You can just use the CDN link, you just putting it in your HTML code and you get start using uh the Bootstrap. So you have to include the CSS and JS link. If you are using Bootstrap components that doesn't require JS, you can include CSS. But if you are using those ones that require both CSS and JS. You have to include both. So this is the link for the CSS. So let's copy it. CSS then. So we have to paste it inside the head tag. So you have to copy the JavaScript CDN link also. So this is the one. So you can still go on and include both proper and JS separately. So if there are if you are using component that doesn't require proper like drop downs and popovers, so this one I do not that require proper JS, you can just remove them and include the only JS, but to save the space just add the JavaScript, the one that have both JavaScript, both proper and pure JavaScript. So remember, it's very bad to add JavaScript file in the head tag. We always add it at the end of the body tag like this. So the CSS and HTML will load first before reaching JavaScript. That's the essence. So with these two CDN link, you can start using Bootstrap. Very easy to start using. So another way to start to use Bootstrap is to download the Bootstrap CSS and JS in your local code base, and you now push it together to production. So I'm not going to demo it, and I have a reason for it that I will talk about later. Uh, so but now let's just use the CDN link to get started. Let's say we want to build a navbar. So if you probably build a website, you know you want to build a navbar with HTML and CSS, you have to write HTML code, you have to write CSS code, you have to have a little bit of JavaScript so that when you click on the navbar icon, it changes to cancel icon and it's bring out the all those kind of pure JS that you write because you want to use navbar. But let's say you want to use our navbar with just Bootstrap. You just have to copy a few code. Let's just come to here. Uh, Navbar. So this navbar. So it just has this pre-built stuff that you just have to use on your own. I mean, this is just too much. Let me use this. So we want to copy this and let's copy it. So when you are using Bootstrap, the best practice is to always use a div that contain everything and give it a class name of container. Yeah, let's have everything in container. How is it? Okay. So now let's paste the navbar code. So I should save. We should have a navbar now. So what do we do here is, so this navbar is the way you paste it now is just I've copied it from the website there. So you don't have to think I've write some big code. You just copy it from the website here and it will give you this. And it's already responsive. You don't have to write media queries again. See the way it looks uh on big screen, medium screen. So let's go through the code to have a look at. So this is the nav. You know when you are building nav, let's remove the search part for now so that we don't you can get a view very well. Yeah. So when you're building nav, you use semantic HTML like this is nav. So we know this is navigation. So this is the class navbar that tells Bootstrap that I want to use navbar. And this nav expand like this tell Bootstrap that we want only this navbar to expand on last screen. So it's only when you get to last screen that it will expand like this. So that's what that does. So you don't even have to know all these class name. Just go to the website, search for the component that you are building and just copy the code, the base code, and uh, you can always change some other things there. So we use BG light. If you use BG dark, it's what it will look like. You see, it's dark. So I can always change the color of those text to white. So for now, you're just using white. Just start making your own things like that. So we have this brand. It has a class of navbar brand. So this like the company name. So in a navbar you have to have the company name or the website name so that will kind of stand out from the others. So we put that name on the navbar brand. So it can be our DevCareer. So that's the navbar brand. And then we have this button which is like the this particular toggle now. So this is Bootstrap. Download Bootstrap have some CSS JSS code that does this all this stuff for you. So it's the one. So when we do like this, it's change. Yeah. So this particular icon, navbar toggler icon. So you don't even have to worry about how they go about it. Just know that it's there for you. So then we have the content of the navbar like this. Those that comes down here, the home, the drop down here, and the side that we moved earlier. So you can always you see collapse, navbar collapse, so it can collapse like this, go down, go up. So you don't even really have to worry about all this class. Just know that this class, this what it does. So navbar now, this is the nav inside the navbar. So it's giving it a margin, just like in table CSS we discussed. If you see MB is like margin bottom when it is on large screen, it's giving a 7. So that's like the responsiveness part. I will talk more about that. So this like a nav link. Each link inside this navbar, home, drop down. So the one that is actually we are currently on, when we have navbar, we have the page that we are currently on. You can have home, about page. So the one we are currently on is the active. So it's the one that we are having the active tag. See, it's kind of different from the drop down. So it's already black, where this one is a little lighter. So it has an ID that is used to connect with the JavaScript file. So this drop down is button. That's why it's changing it. We are using inside navbar we only have link. That's what is. But this particular one we are changing. We have to change it to button because it's a button using row button. So this is what we do. Drop down. So this is the content of the drop down. It's UL class drop down menu, drop down item. So the menu that is containing them and the items. So this is like the divider. Drop down, as the name suggests, a line that divides them. So another drop down item. So you see that those class name are self-explanatory and you just have to just add them out as it goes. So just with this code I will copy, we don't write any big code, we have our navbar working and you just go to another section of the website. So that's how easy it is to use Bootstrap. So like the thing that we did the other time, everything you need about using Bootstrap is definitely on the website, going from layout to content, the components. So can you hear now? Can you guys hear me? Oh shit. Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah. How do I open it? So yeah. Okay. So I don't know the part I was saying. I was just explaining that with these few codes, without doing a lot of extra work, we have our navbar working. This like related to all other components that you can think of your website. Say you want accordion. Accordion is like what you click for it to go down or something like this. So if you want to build this using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, it's quite a lot of work. Instead of doing it by yourself, just copy this code and go on and paste it and you have your accordion. So that's how it is. Buttons, uh you see all kind of buttons, carousel. One of those things that are not really easy to do is carousel. For you to build by yourself with HTML, CSS and JavaScript is a lot of work. So just come here and copy the code to have your carousel. I mean, I don't see a reason why you should be building your carousel by yourself using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Any framework that you are using, they have like these components pre-made for you. So it's quite a lot of work. So you can just copy the code and I mean use the pre-built components for your use case. So a lot of components, modals. So you can see here is the this is how the modal looks like. So all you have to do is just copy the code. So I click on launch and it launches it. So this is the button that trigger the model. All you have to do is to use the data table with the ID that you specify here, the ID here, and use the target here, and you are going to have it done. So I can't go through all the classes and uh, what do we call it, and all the components that are available in Bootstrap. I will leave that to you to make some research and use it according to your need in the uh, after the class. So, but like these are the basis of it. What you need to get Bootstrap working is the CDN. Of course, even if you are working on your local, you need the internet because you are using the CDN link. So copy the CSS and copy the JavaScript, and you have all your and you have your Bootstrap working perfectly. So that's the demo that I have. So the question that might come to your mind is now which framework? The previous week we talked about Tailwind CSS. I went on blah 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 about how Tailwind was amazing. I even say some bad words about Bootstrap that Bootstrap is not good. So which framework should you use and which one should you learn? I'll answer that question if that is coming out of your mind. So when to use Bootstrap? You see, Bootstrap is a solution that's meant to help developers spin up things easier, start a website without a lot of work. One of the best cases for you to use Bootstrap is hackathon. I don't know if you participate in hackathon. Most hackathon dey give you like a week, 2 days, some are even 24 hours. You just go to the location, start coding and you must come up with MVP, a minimum viable product. You just pitch with them that this is our idea, this is what it might look like, this is the feature that we are looking to build. So if you use Bootstrap, you just imagine you want to build let's say your project is to build an health tech solution. Just copy the navbar, bam, you have the navbar. Copy John Pochon section. Let's see. Just copy accordion, copy modals and put them, copy form, just put them in your code fast 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 fast. When you are doing hackathon, there's nothing that concerns them with how detailed to how at ten tion to detail your website and how really beautiful it is. That's not the purpose of hackathon. The purpose of hackathon is for you to come um give us an information about this amazing idea that you have and give us a minimum viable product. That's what I call minimum, something that is just presentable. So Bootstrap is the best solution for you when you are trying to do an hackathon. Whenever you go to an hackathon, just use Bootstrap. Don't try using vanilla CSS or pure CSS. It will take you a lot of time when what they need is just a minimum something for you to pay. So Bootstrap is very useful when you are doing hackathon. Mind you, the Bootstrap team won't tell you you can't use Bootstrap in other place, and this is just like the best when you try to compare all these tools. All these tools, they have where they stand out, they have their weakness. So this means trying to tell you where Bootstrap stand out and where Bootstrap have their weakness. Bootstrap team will tell you that Bootstrap can be used for everything from production to but one of the best places to use hackathon. Another best place is to use Bootstrap. While another best place to use Bootstrap is when you are doing full stack project and probably you are a full stack developer as a backend developer. So these developers that are full stack, but most their importance are of backend developer or a backend developer that does not have a front-end developer to work with to build a project. There is no sense in for you trying to give out your portfolio and all you are demoing is APIs. It's not really presentable. You have to demo it with a front-end website. So if you are trying to build a full stack project that the focus is not on the UI, it's on the backend, it's on the API database. So why not use Bootstrap instead of stressing yourself to build what do you call it, to build amazing beautiful uh UI. So let's say you want to have nav bars, I mean paginated datas. So you have table that is fetching data from the backend. Instead of you to start building all dis styling all dis by yourself, just copy the code and paste it in your code base to have it running. So stuff like that. So when you are trying to build a full stack project and there is no importance with the UI, Bootstrap is your to go. Dis third part, when you have stingy clients, you know dis client that just want to, they are not really, they don't really know the importance of having a website. Probably you are the one that push them to have a website, or they are trying to pay 10,000 naira for a website. Those kind of people paying 20,000 naira for a website, 30,000 naira. Don't stress yourself. Just give them one Bootstrap website, easy to use and something that is usable. Somebody that pay you 30,000 naira for a project, you can't be doing all this advanced CSS stuff on their website. Just give them one Bootstrap website and collect your money and go. They are stingy and this is all the kind of product they need to have. So these are the examples of where Bootstrap is very useful. So in as much I'm trying to tell you the importance of Bootstrap, how Bootstrap works well, I need to tell you when not to use Bootstrap. When you are doing advanced UI projects, project that require, maybe you are building a software as a service platform, software that people will use, you don't use Bootstrap because when you are building software, you need to go into details of how you want your user to interact with your software. The designer will have give you a lot of advanced designs, interaction that you need to implement. And if you are using Bootstrap, you just be stranded with this with this kind of, imagine the navbar the UI designer gave you is not this type, it's something different, and when you click it has to change to another thing. So that kind of thing. So now if you want to make that work in Bootstrap, you definitely need to kind of write another style. Just what you might want to do is go to this button navbar toggler, create your CSS and now write another CSS. You go to Bootstrap where you try to look at how they write this navbar toggler and you now trying to change the styles by writing another CSS file. This with the same class name, just create another CSS file and be like dot navbar toggler and then started adding your own preferred styles. That's a lot of work. Why won't just go on and start building my own custom components? Like I know that this navbar, it will be used across all pages on this software service. I mean on this platform. So the best thing for me to do is to build out the a navbar by myself and make sure it's pixel perfect with what the designer designed. I think that works. So also when as a front end developer, I mean people that hire front end developers, project that you want to put on your portfolio to get a job, it's not really advisable for you to use Bootstrap for them. You want to show them that you are a front end developer. What the front end developer do? They build beautiful websites, easy to use website that have attention to details. So you have to use CSS to make sure your website looks really beautiful. So Bootstrap is not ugly, but it's not, there are not a lot of attention to detail because they are trying to build something that will be usable for all, like in all use case. So if you are building your own personal portfolio project, don't use Bootstrap. So and the third one, don't use Bootstrap anytime. I mean why my anytime before you can use Bootstrap, find a reason for you to use it. You should not use Bootstrap every time until you find a reason to use it. One of the reason might be one of these three. Probably you are in an hackathon, you are doing a full stack project, or you have a stinky client. So find a reason before using Bootstrap as a front end developer. So you are better off using your vanilla CSS or Tailwind CSS. You know, Tailwind has their own disadvantages. So but it's more far usable than Bootstrap to build pixel perfect design. So you should be wary of that. You shouldn't use Bootstrap unless you find a reason, and those reason might be one of these. So probably you have an hackathon full stack project that does not have the importance on the UI. So these are the reasons when you have not to use Bootstrap. So, and again, like I said earlier, Bootstrap provide a solution for all dis that I might talk about. Like if you want to have advanced UI project, Bootstrap have a way um for you to customize your Bootstrap. So let me see. So you can yes. So you can customize your Bootstrap. So one of the way you might want to use it is using SAS to customize your Bootstrap. Um you can define how this navbar toggler will looks like. So you don't want it to look like, you can define your own. You can define what this nav looks like. So probably your own nav you can customize it to be red. And when in all your projects, whenever you say nav, it will be red. But let's see it like this. You are building a website. So instead of you to just probably create a navbar now that's having that you've designed using CSS and JavaScript once, and just copy the code. If you are using HTML, just copy the code to all over whenever you need the navbar. And you having to install SAS, doing all this advanced stuff and trying to create your own custom version of Bootstrap. This is definitely more work than just building your own navbar. It's not that hard, like it's just that when you want to, you are now putting attention to details, easier like this. So if you have to now use all these custom styles, customization, you are definitely better off creating your own HTML CSS style. So if you have to use customization for Bootstrap, you are definitely better off doing your own HTML CSS. So but Bootstrap provide solution for when you want to do advanced UI project and you want customization, you want details, you want Bootstrap to look exactly like you want, you can do that. You can specify what your color will look like. So yeah, all the components, what it will look like, you can do that by yourself. So but I don't see any reason why you should be doing that. So that's just the honest opinion, and this is the opinion of many front-end developers that you can meet. So the goal is to use these tools that are not something that dictates our job. We are the one that use them. We should only use them when they are convenient for us. So that's just the gist here. So I think this is quite a fast class, and so I'll be moving on to the question segment. So if you have any question for me, let me know. So is there any question? Yeah, cool. Probably we understand Bootstrap already. So I think the most important part of this class is for us to know when and when not to use Bootstrap. Bootstrap is quite easy to understand, is quite easy to start using. So but be very very when you see I didn't take a lot of time on the demo because all you have to do is just come here, copy the component and start using it. So but the most important thing that I actually want to put emphasis on in the class is to when and not to when to use and when not to use Bootstrap. Yeah, if there is no question, I think that will be all for this class. So we have a low turnout today. Wow, I think that works. Yeah, thank you for joining. I appreciate. I will post the recording on the Slack after this class. Yeah, you're welcome.